Let's talk about gas mileage, but before we get started, we're going to do something a little different. So if you drive a Tacoma, whether it's a 1999 or a 2025 Tacoma, or newer, depending on when you're watching this video, go ahead and throw in your average gas mileage in the comment section. I'm really curious to see the average gas mileage across all your Tacomas to really compare if the gas mileage for the 2024s and 5s are really significantly any better than the older model ones. Now let's talk about driving habits, because that is super important. If you are someone who is just solely interested in seeing what the average gas mileage is for my Tacoma Hybrid, feel free to forward to the middle/end of this video. But if you're actually interested to hear about driving habits, because that makes a huge difference when it comes to gas mileage, feel free to stick around. So the gas mileage on my 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road Hybrid. Some things to talk about. I took off the air dam off the front of it. That slightly will reduce your gas mileage. I hated the way it looked. It was like a big old freaking snow plow on the front of the truck, and it was like double the size of the bumper. I hated it. Aesthetically, I hated looking at the front of my truck because of it. So I ripped that thing off. And I actually found a way to get the whistle sound to stop. I've made a video on that. Feel free to check it out if you're running into the same issue. So back to gas mileage. The gas mileage, driving habits. Okay, so my driving habits, I drive normal. I use regular gasoline. I do not use the premium, although you will get better gas mileage and more power if you use premium. But for me, the engine runs fine on regular, so that's what I'm doing. The thing to note, so most of my driving is, I'd say you're looking at about 70% city, 30% highway. Now, I did recently go on a trip to Indiana from North Carolina, so that was like 99.5% interstate driving at about 75-ish, 75, something like that. So my gas mileage did go down 0.1 from that trip. So it didn't impact it that much. So with gas mileage, the way you drive your vehicle, even if it's a Prius, if you just floor it all the time, you're going to have a lot worse gas mileage than if you drive like a 96-year-old grandpa. I drive, I'd say like your average person. Sometimes I'll get on it a little bit, but for the most part, I'll drive the speed limit and accelerate at a normal pace from stoplights. I had a Mustang. I used to race at stoplights. You know, when it turned green, you just floor it. That's not how I work. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the truck and take a look at what the average gas mileage is. This is the 4,000 mile gas mileage update. So here we go. The truck is not turned on right now, just so it has less noise. But this is my average. It's 20.7. It was 20.8 before the trip to Indiana. So it was a good drive. It does well on long drives, but 20.8. So let's just say 21 miles per gallon is really the average that I've been getting. So, is 21 miles to the gallon, rounded up, what I would expect that I was going to get with this truck? Now, I know a lot of people, when you buy a hybrid, you buy it with the expectation that you're going to get a lot better gas mileage. So, because I was very into learning about this truck when they first started coming out, the hybrid ones, I did a ton of research. I watched a lot of videos with the chief engineer at Toyota for the Tacoma, who talked about that this truck was built for extra power and not fuel efficiency. Now, don't get me wrong. I love going through the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A and it running on EV mode the whole time. The engine not turning on, not wasting a drop of gas is just so, I don't know. I love it. It's just a cool feeling. Or going down a hill and the engine shuts off and you're just like, coasting, and then you're like, man, I'm not wasting any gas, which is great because the gas tanks on these trucks aren't that great. For those of you who know, you'll get 300 miles to the tank. Heaven forbid you get some big old off-road tires. You're going to be filling up every 200 something miles. But overall, it is what it is. I know a couple gas models that get better, and I know some that get worse. So overall, it comes in, I guess, slightly lower than I was expecting. We are at a little over 4,000 miles, so I would expect the break-in. You know, a lot of people, when I did this at 500 miles, are like, hey, it's still breaking in, just give it some more time, it'll improve. And over time, I think it's actually gone down, or say the same. It's been around 21, I think, pretty much the majority of the time that I've had it. A little bit more, a little bit less. I've reset it a couple of times. What I haven't done, which what I might do in my next video, is manually calculate it. So like when I go to the gas station, like write down and manually do it instead of relying on the calculator inside the truck. But overall, that's your average 21 miles to the gallon for this 2024 Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road Hybrid. If you haven't already, throw in your gas mileage for your truck in the comment section. I would love to see how it compares to what this truck gets. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.